people of knowledge, and this to me is a celebration. It is a celebration precisely of knowledge. I cannot but thank you. Thank you who are sitting there, participating, doing us the honor of listening to us so that we may discuss the subject matter of this conference, housing, land, and social inclusion, all of which are very important. It is here where I would like to underscore, in my professional capacity as a medical doctor, the fact that I have been transferred to a very important area, social medicine, which is the most important in my opinion. What we are doing today, I hope, contributes to different aspects and to the processes that each and all of you manage. And I hope we may contribute to making this a better world. That is why I'm again encouraged to personally thank you all and to thank the sponsorship of the Health Ministry of Argentina, because this is an essential element for social changes, that is having a healthy people, healthy in every respect. Emphasis has been placed on the fact that because of the way we live and the way society behaves today, something that is intrinsic to human beings, that is the spirit, has been obliterated, however important the spirit is. Without further ado, because we are short of time, I would like to share with you my experience and the experience of my country, Honduras. I was born and grew there in an indigenous background that was culturally and ethnically differentiated. Afro-descendant people in Honduras preserve all their ethnic features, ancestral features such as religion, food, traditions, music, art, everything related to a group of people which is utterly differentiated. We are on the Atlantic coast of the country, and they account for 2% of the general population. 12% is accounted for by other indigenous groups with their own ethnic groups, which are quite specific to them, in addition to the rest of the population, that is the mestizos, the mixture of Indians and Europeans, and a small percentage of people who are Caucasian. I would like to underscore this because what I'm going to discuss is at the very essence of the problems in Honduras, and it ties into social inclusion, which is intended to develop in Honduras to bring Hondurans up in the ranking of poor countries. It is the 10th most dangerous countries to live in because of the high crime rate, and it is not that I take pride in that, of course, and it's not that I want you to be fearful, because crime rates exist everywhere. However, these are elements that come out of economic inequality. That's the true evil affecting societies today, not only the Honduran one. Honduras has a recent history, you know that. I mean, it is a young country, and those who read the news will know that the country went through a hard blow on democracy because of a coup d'etat, which fostered yet another 6 months of social unrest and turmoil, in addition to increasing social issues and social differences. At the time, the Honduras Congress introduced changes to the legislation, to the Constitution. It amended the Constitution, prepared a development plan, and dismantled the land ownership and farming system. Many of those who participated in the coup d'etat took over significant plots of land in the Atlantic coast of Honduras, which is the living area for the Afro-descendant population, all of which resulted in conflict. This not only ties into the Afro-descendant community, mind you, it has also relationships to the other indigenous communities, their main characteristic being the fact that they have been living in harmony and caring for the environment. In the past 20 years, this has been the case, and travel companies, those engaging in tourism, have been attracted to the country. It is worth underscoring that travel is a very important element for the development of peoples in general and of Honduras in particular. And I mention this because in this industry, people should understand what is it that they can put forward so that they may bring into the limelight and bring a solution to problems in those countries, countries where travel has become a part of direct development programs. As far as my country is concerned, those 6 months of the coup d'etat were used to develop a work plan which consisted in taking over the country's wealth with the assistance of countries like the USA. This forced and accelerated an election process, which was flawed, of course, but well, they were elections in the end, and the ones who have fostered the coup d'etat and those who were their allies tried to act against it, resist it, and because of ours being a bipartisan system, the elections were not that successful. However, the foundations set for the development of this national plan resulted in the taking over of the Garífunas peoples, a group of indigenous peoples who are Afro-descendants in Honduras. They took over this land to promote the tourism activity. And this was also intended to develop travel in the Atlantic coast. I would like to discuss with you the proposal of model cities. They are the element that the government is using to respond to the increase in poverty, which became further worsened after the coup d'etat, the increase in the crime rate, as well as in human rights violations. Honduras, for example, is not a country where people should be journalists, because since the coup d'etat until now, they are still chasing and murdering journalists without second thought. It is also a country where there is gender violence against women, violence against the gay, lesbian, and homosexual community. These brutal activities are present there, and we witness to all the different manifestations of social problems, which one way or another we are all familiar with. Paul Romer is the American economist from Stanford University, who explains as an alternative to development the creation of these charter cities. The reason why I chose to talk about this is because it offers specific characteristics to establish something. And why is he offering this alternative around peoples in Africa or in the Caribbean or Central America? Well, it is to develop them and to promote their economic development. For Paul Romer, these charter cities are areas where there should be autonomous authorities, rules, and independent legal authorities. Here is where his proposal comes interesting. He says that peoples have to dare change. Human beings cannot be static. Rather, they have to learn to change and rehearse other proposals in order to move forward. In this regard, he designs his proposal promoting these special areas, promoting their full independence from the area where they are located. In the case of Honduras, the government, so it was wonderful to offer 33 kilometers of Trujillo, one of the oldest cities, the first capital of Honduras, located on the west, on the Atlantic coast, for the development of these charter cities. Unlike what Paul Romer proposes, the Honduran government has chosen an area that is the settlement of these populations, establishing a differentiation with the proposal in Romer's charter cities that should be vacant plots of land. In the case of Honduras, this land does have owners, and because of communal agreements with the British Crown and the Spanish Crown, the Garífunas, these indigenous peoples, were the right to settle there. Because of greediness in government, this is the ideal land to progress in economic terms, but engaging in the same old practices. To me, getting to know the proposals regarding the collection of rent on the value of land is very important. And it comes to my mind, and I think that it is worth thinking that if there is anything good about it, is the fact that Paul Romer says that people should dare create their own rules. No government, no place can move forward unless there is security in place and unless it is in a situation of peace that will warrant governance. The Honduras government does away with all this, the only point in common being the fact that they are proposing the breaking of pre-existent rules. Amongst panelists, we have all shared the mistrust as to whether this may be made possible. This at least was the opinion of young people speaking outside during the breaks who said that all speakers agreed that this could not be done. It can be done if we use Romer's principles themselves, which say that all humans have the chance to twist their destiny. That is, we have to understand what these proposals account for, what they mean, proposals about taxation, of course, which should be implemented so that we may contribute to a social inclusion and recovery process. It is viable. Maybe it is not necessary any longer to go over the details of the process, but what is important is to acknowledge major factors that are taken into account and which may contribute to this social inclusion and what social inclusion means to people. In the case of Honduras, taking charter cities as the stepping stone for the development of inclusion processes is just the opposite. First, because of what I said, that is, it has been decided areas which are populated and to which indigenous peoples have a right. Plus, it is not viable there because it leaves out natives, the native population. The charter city model relates to establishing alternate forms